Hi ladies, welcome back to the channel. I am Nina, and if you are new here, welcome. It is always so good to have all you beautiful pretty ladies on here. And today, as you can see by the title, we're going to be talking about superficial femininity, what it is and why it's not real femininity. And I'm just going to give you a breakdown, maybe some examples as well, so that you can better understand the difference between real femininity and the real work that comes with that versus masquerading as a feminine woman. I don't really have notes on this. I hope I stay on track, but this is just something that is weighing quite heavy on my chest at the moment. But I am hydrating, so if you need to grab a beverage, pause the video, get yourself nice and comfortable, get your notepads, and let's begin. So let us talk about the difference between superficial femininity and real femininity. So superficial femininity basically is putting the mask on, okay? So whether it's makeup, hair, clothes, heels, skirts, feminine colors, all of that kind of stuff, that is very superficial femininity. What I will say about that is there's nothing wrong with that as a starting point if you are getting into your feminine journey, and that will get you a lot of results, just because it's already a break from the norm. Most really masculine women and obviously masculine men don't look feminine, okay? So if you are changing up your hair, starting to put on makeup, starting to put on more feminine and flattering clothes, and starting to experiment with heels and all of that kind of stuff, getting your nails done, that is wonderful. It's a great first step. But I think the main thing that I want to highlight with this video is the perception that that's all it takes to be a feminine woman. I've heard women saying, "Oh, is that it? Oh, that's easy." And the fact of the matter is, it is pretty easy to go to the salon and get your hair done. It is pretty easy to learn how to put on your makeup. Well, relatively. It is pretty easy to go and get your nails done. These are things that you can even outsource, in the sense that you can go to a makeup artist, you can go to a nail technician, you can go to an image consultant, you can go to a salesperson in a store and get a crash course on how to look the part. And like I said, it's a great place to start, but that does not encompass femininity as a whole, okay? Femininity as a whole, the real essence of it, has a little bit to do with how you look, but it's more about your presence, your essence. So it's very nuanced, in the sense that my version of femininity and your version of femininity, how we both embody it, is not going to be the same, right? Because I have my own personality, I have my preferences, and all of that kind of stuff. And so do you, and so does the next woman. So that's the thing about real femininity. It's that it goes way deeper than what you look like. For example, a feminine woman can dress up masculine, but there are just going to be things about her that are very feminine that come out anyway. And a masculine woman can dress feminine, but there's still going to be things about her that are extremely masculine that show through the pretty pink dress. Do you understand? So I really want to, at the very beginning of this video, highlight the fact that the one does not equal the other. So if you're a feminine essence woman, you're probably going to have that bleeding into your look, okay? There's gonna be something about the way that you look that is very feminine. But if you're a masculine woman, you can dress up as a feminine woman or you like, but you're just gonna have certain mannerisms, or there's just going to be a way that you carry yourself that does not translate into full femininity. So, ladies, let us not get ourselves mixed up into thinking that if you wear a dress, you're already feminine. Okay? It doesn't really work like that. With that being said, let's move on to the next point. So if you are dressing as a feminine woman, but for example, you don't really have feminine energy that makes people attracted towards you, you're probably going to either look, it's gonna come across maybe a little bit clownish because your look is not really going to gel in or fit in with how you carry yourself. So people are just gonna see that dissonance, I wanna say, and it's just going to be a little bit awkward, okay? So that's probably what's gonna happen. Or otherwise, you're probably going to come across, even if that's not your intention, but you're probably gonna come across as very manipulative and maybe even deceitful because you're putting on a show essentially and trying to make people buy something that you actually don't really possess. So what does this look like? So let's say, for example, you're dressed really feminine and you're out there and you get approached and all of that kind of stuff, and maybe your look is really attractive, okay? But as soon as you open your mouth, or as soon as you walk into a room, or as soon as somebody comes into contact with more than just your image, when they come into contact with your energy, they're going to feel uneasy because they're going to feel like, okay, but the packaging and what I'm actually getting is not the same. It's almost like when you order something online and when it arrives, it looks nothing like what you ordered. I mean, it's probably the same color, probably the same, you know what I mean, like design, but it does not look like what you bought into. And that's very triggering, and it's not a nice feeling. So you don't want people to look at you and feel like you're one thing, and then when they actually get to know you, you're completely something else. This also goes with how you treat other women, right? This is not spoken about enough, I think. It's not just about the people that are interested in dating you, but if you are a feminine looking woman, but you don't really relate very well with feminine women, feminine essence women, and you're not able to navigate a space around them, then that already gives you away. So what does that look like? So for example, if you're a feminine energy woman and you come across other feminine energy women, you have a very deep appreciation for their femininity. You don't necessarily have to say anything depending on the context. You don't necessarily have to even do anything, but that admiration is already enough. And it's almost like it replenishes your own feminine energy just by seeing or being around another feminine essence woman. If you are a masculine energy woman masquerading or dressed as a feminine woman, when you come across a real feminine woman, you are going to be heavily triggered, and you are either going to be repelled by their energy because it just doesn't fit with your energy, or you may end up masquerading and manipulating your way around the situation, in the sense that you're gonna wanna, I hear a lot of okay, so what do we do when this happens? Oh, okay, so this guy has approached me, but he approached me online. So what do we do in cases like that? Anytime I hear, so what do we do? I hear masquerading. Because at the end of the day, feminine energy is really about understanding who you are as a feminine woman, embracing that, building that, you know, living that, embodying that, whatever that looks like to you. And when you are on that journey of embodying your feminine essence that you already have within you, when you are in the process of cultivating and grooming yourself from the inside as well as on the outside, when you are really about that life, it's not about what do we do. And I'm not necessarily crucifying women that do this, because I think, you know, when you're still new to a certain way of living, you do look for inspiration, you know, from people that are living it or have lived it, right? So essentially there's nothing really wrong with that question. But if that's where you are and that's how you make your decisions, and it just shows that you're not yet fully feminine. Now, if you're walking around parading like you're fully feminine because your image looks feminine, but there are life situations that happen that you don't know how to handle because you're not actually embodying your femininity, then it just looks very it's like you know, it's like it doesn't go, it doesn't gel. There's no continuity. It's like it's like someone's looking at two different pictures in one, and it's kind of, you know, confusing. It's like having a dessert while you're having, I don't know, a really salty meal. It just doesn't go, right? That was a bad example, but you know what I mean. So if you're not able to say, okay, cool, let me get into my feminine energy, let me learn, let me, you know, get into different habits, different hobbies, let me hang around people, da da da. You end up being a very manipulative person, because you basically presenting me with this image, but what you have behind it it doesn't talk to what you're presenting me. Okay, like I said, it's like ordering something online, and when it arrives, it's like, what the heck is this, right? So you really don't want to be that woman. And if you are, for example, using your feminine energy and looks and image to get something from people, but you don't actually have a real appreciation and understanding of the dynamic, that is very manipulative energy. So what do I mean by that? Okay, I'll give you two examples. So say, for example, there's a guy, right? There's a guy or a man or whatever that you have a crush on, that you want to date, or that you find interesting. And you change your image. You see this in movies, right? You change your image so that you can attract him. And you attract him, right? And as soon as you either have him, or as soon as he does something that does not line up with what you want, like he doesn't do exactly what you want, your femininity is out the door, and you're in your masculine energy, or you're in your wounded energy, or whatever. That is manipulation, right? It's the same with women. If you see a woman that you think, oh wow, I really like her energy, I really like her style, I really like the way she carries herself, I like her lifestyle, I like what I see, right? And you know, as a woman, and you want to get to know her, and maybe you even start emulating and imitating her because you think if you look like her, it's going to translate into the same energy that you felt from her. And then you're not able to access a certain level of friendship with her, or you know, because she's probably, if she's really feminine, there's just certain things that she's embodied, or there's just certain standards that she holds herself and her friends to, that you probably aren't reaching because you're not even actually embodying your femininity. Well, as soon as she either calls you out, because feminine women will do that, not in a masculine way, but one of the things of being feminine is being true to who you are. And once she shows you that there's no alignment here, then you start, trying to make her feel bad because she didn't give you the type of validation that you were looking for. Now, ladies, this is what I'm talking about when I say masquerading femininity, or superficial femininity. If you are using feminine looks to try and get something that you want from someone, and when you don't get it, you resort to making that person feel less than, you're not really feminine. So how does a true feminine essence woman take something like rejection? Okay, so say I'm in a space and I see a really feminine energy woman and I'm really drawn to her, and maybe we end up in conversation, right? Firstly, as a feminine energy woman, I have certain boundaries when it comes to my energy. And because I have certain boundaries, I am very aware of the fact that other people have boundaries too, right? So when I'm in a space of another feminine energy woman, I will move in a way that respects her boundaries. So in other words, I'm not trying to get anything from her. That's a very masculine energy when you're trying to get something, okay? I'm not trying to get something from her. I'm not actively looking for an outcome, okay? That's what I mean by that. So if we happen to have a nice conversation, great. If she happens to smile and wave and introduce herself, great. If she happens to just be in her world and not even taking in me and other people around her, great. What I feel in that moment is, oh wow, it's just an appreciation, right? If it so happens that we connect, we chat, we talk, we agree to socialize together, and we do, and all of that kind of stuff, there's still that presence and appreciation of the fact that, okay, we are vibing, right? But the expectation of, she's going to be my best friend, she's going to take me everywhere she goes, she's never going to be able to make a decision without me, that codependent type of energy, or another one that I see a lot of, that kind of okay, so yes, we're friends, but there's some internal competition of, well, at the end of the day, I'm better than her for whatever reason, so she needs to basically pay homage to me somehow. No. That is very masculine energy, okay? And if you are moving with that energy, you can have all your lashes, all your nails on point, everything on point. That translates more than your look, if you understand what I'm saying. So as a feminine energy woman, when I meet another feminine energy woman, there's a lot of respect, and even if it's admiration, that's fine, that's great, but there's not really that expectation of, now we're going to merge and become one. I understand that she's her own being with her own journey, with her own stuff, just like I am. At the most, I can learn, if she introduces me to some of her hobbies, or her circle, or just, her world in general. That's an opportunity for me to learn. It's like iron sharpen iron, that saying, and vice versa, right? But it's not an internal competition, it's more inspiration. So ladies, I'm making this video so that on your feminine journey, if you find yourself with these certain behaviors, check yourself real quick, because you may think people don't see it, but people see it. If you are doing this feminine lifestyle to be liked, and when people don't respond accordingly, then you're mad at them, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. If you're doing it because you feel inspired and you understand that, yes, a lot of things will come to you because you are now attracting a lot of good things to you, but a lot of things won't come to you, and that's also okay. You're on the right journey, because it's more than just bait. Okay, and if you're just using it as bait, then that's okay, but be honest with yourself, right? And don't be alarmed when you come across people that are actually living the energy and you guys are not aligned. Don't feel bad, and don't try and make them feel bad about it, because honestly, if you're gonna try and make me feel bad about the fact that you know, I'm not doing what you're telling me to do or what you expect me to do, if I'm supposed to feel bad for that, then we're definitely not in alignment, because I have my goals, my path that I'm walking, my world that I live in and that I am building, and I have my essence that I am continuously cultivating. And if you think that your expectations supersede my life, you're in for a rude awakening, because feminine energy, like I said before, definitely honors boundaries. And as a feminine woman, if I'm in a space where I feel my boundaries being violated, I don't sit and negotiate. I don't scream and kick and throw my toys. I just remove myself and go somewhere where my boundaries are respected. And if that somewhere is my home, I'll go there too. That's okay. I love my home. But you really, if you are a masquerading feminine person, you really have to be aware of the fact that you have a lot of work to do. You have a lot of work to do. And if you choose to do it, if you choose not to do it, that's fine. But you need to understand that you can't compare yourself to somebody who's actually feminine just because you wore a dress that one time, or for those couple of weeks, or whatever it is that you're doing. Do you understand? So just be aware, ladies, because sometimes you think you're being slick and smart, and there's people around you who can see through your masquerade, and it's very off-putting. And then you wonder why there's a certain ceiling or limit that you can't get past. It's because you're not actually doing the work. You're just slapping on some makeup and calling it a day. So it's a good start, but there's a lot more to femininity than what meets the eye. Okay, so I'm gonna leave you ladies on that note. I hope this helped. And if I've called you out, don't worry about it. We are all evolving, right? I'll just encourage you to make a decision. If you're just about the superficial life, then just be about the superficial life, but don't try and pull in people who are really about the feminine life, because there's definitely going to be a clashing of energy and a clashing of the minds over there. Okay? All right. And if you are a real feminine energy woman, stay feminine, and I'll see you in the next one.